What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the all-new 2022 Toyota GR86. Big shout out and thank you to Flo Toyota of Statesville for providing this new 86 for today's video. Definitely take a look at their website, link down below. And the model that we're looking at today is the premium, finished off in Halo, and has an MSRP at $32,400. Underneath the hood of this all-new generation Toyota GR86, you're going to find a naturally aspirated 2.4-liter 4-cylinder boxer motor. It pumps out 228 horsepower with 184 pound-feet of torque. It's also paired to a 6-speed manual transmission, sending all the power to the rear wheels through a limited-slip rear differential. Curb weight comes in around 2,800 pounds, and running on a 13.2-gallon fuel tank, you're looking at 20 miles per gallon in the city with 27 out on the highway. It can also achieve 0 to 60 in 6.1 seconds and top out at 140 miles per hour. The overall length is 168 inches with wheelbase at 101.4, height is 51.6, and width is 69.9 inches. The new 86 also features 2 piston brake calipers up front with an 11.6-inch rotor, and you get 1 piston calipers in back with 11.4-inch rotors. And then now moving on to the exterior styling with this 2022 Toyota GR86. This is a very sporty looking car. Moving up front, you can see these LED headlights finished off with a black housing, and you can also see the DRL in the lower portion. We get some aggressive pieces in the farthest sides of the front bumper with sharp fins on the bodywork. Then you can see a massive front splitter cutting through the entire front end of the bumper. We get a huge opening in the front grille to allow maximum cooling to the front mounted radiators. This has a really cool mesh design, and you can see the GR badge over on the far side. We also get the Toyota logo right in the center. Then you can see just how low the front of this car is. Extremely low center of gravity. I like how you can see some raised portions on the hood on the farthest sides over the wheel arches, and it's a very sleek car. The design is much more sharp and up-to-date comparing it to the previous 86 and the older Scion FRS. If we then move to the side profile, you can see reflectors on the front bumper. This gets a set of 18-inch wheels finished off in a satin gray, and they're a multi-spoke design, looking very nice for the premium model. There's a trim piece behind the front wheels within this front fender that even features a functional vent to allow pressurized air from the wheel well to escape. You can see how the body line cuts towards the door panel. Then it's very smooth going across the entire side profile. You get a really sharp side skirt down below to add some width to this car, then even a set of body color door handles with metallic black on the mirror caps. You can see black trim all around the windows, and then some sharp lines up on the roof along with a painted shark fin antenna. I really like the side profile of the 86s. It has much more aggression comparing it to previous generations, extremely proportional. You can see a little bit of Lexus in the design of it, especially as we make our way to the rear end. You get a really wide area going around these rear fenders to give it a wider look, and a massive ducktail spoiler mounted on top of the trunk. I love the way this car looks from the back especially. You can see just how wide it is. And then we have these LED taillights with black on them along with red housings, and they're connected with a nice gloss black trim piece. We get your third brake light up top along with the backup camera. Toyota badge is right in the center along with a trunk release button. The GR86 badge is over on the far side. Then you can see all these sharp lines within this rear bumper. There's also a massive rear diffuser with dual chrome tipped exhaust. Then you can see some fins in the lower side along with your reverse light and reflectors right in the center. So there's a good look at the exterior with the all-new Toyota GR86. I really love this new design. You can kind of see some Lexus RCF along with Toyota Supra in it. I think they really did knock this out of the park, just giving you a really fun, sporty looking sports car. We have Toyota's key fob, looks just like the Supra BRZ's key fob, of course, but we have the Toyota logo, which is your unlock button. However, you can lock the car. It does have the smart key access. I can just grab the door handle, it'll unlock, and we can check out this interior. The premium GR86 is going to feature a black leather interior with Alcantara micro suede accents all throughout. You can see the door panels finished off in black. We get that micro suede material on the entire top portion, and then the smooth black leather for the armrest with some good padding. You get a nice grab handle integrated, a cool design on the side piece, a little bit of storage with a cup holder, window controls, mirror controls, lock and unlock, then your release handles up top. We get an aluminum trim piece for the door sill, then all manual controls for the seats. You can see the recline lever up and down, and then forwards and back is in front. I really love the contrast stitching with smooth black leather. Then you can see the micro suede material. You also get the perforated design with color contrast, really large bolsters in the bottom and up in the back. You You get that same stripe, more of the micro suede along the headrests. Really good looking seats. And then we get a black leather steering wheel with the GR badge, and you're gonna notice Alcantara up on top of the gauges. And then now inside this new Toyota GR86, if I go ahead and push the clutch in, we can go ahead and fire it up. This new 86 gets a digital gauge cluster, and even the design looks like the opposing pistons of the Boxer motor. Very cool integration. Right now in the standard design, you can see how over on the right side we have some temperatures, your tach in the center along with the speedometer, and then over on the left side you can configure this using the pad on the right side of the steering wheel. Going around here, you can see all sorts of different information. Scrolling left and right, you can see a G-force meter along with a dynamometer for the engine. You also have the lap timer. You can continue over for audio settings, safety settings, units and settings that you can adjust. You can also see any messages within the car. Up in the front menu, you also have a few vitals, trip information, and things like that. In the center portion of the car, if you hold down this button right here, you can go ahead and adjust that to the track setting. Now we get a massive tachometer, which looks very cool, and you have some fixed information on the left and on the right. Taking a look at the steering wheel now, you have some Bluetooth and audio controls over on the left, then a few more on the right with cruise control down below. We have the windshield wiper stock on the right side, then turn signals on the left. To the left of the steering wheel, we have the interior lighting and the trunk release button, one of your air vents. You can see the speakers on the farthest sides of the dashboard that have a really cool design. You get a nice silver trim piece and a cool look with how the glove box is laid out. Air vents in the center, and then the touchscreen infotainment setup. You can see all of your controls right in the center. We have an apps icon. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are available in the vehicle. A few more items down below. Your home icon is this screen. You also have the phone shortcut and then an app shortcut as well. Radio controls are on the right. Then if I take the car and put us into reverse, you can see the backup camera pops up and it has pretty good graphics with your guidelines. Going back into neutral, underneath the screen we have all of your climate controls. You can see your fan speed is right in the center, has a really cool display. You have dual zone temperature as well. And then you have toggles all down below. Adjusting the mode, you can see it change on that center screen with your different modes. You also have the defrost icons, recirc, sync, max AC, on, off, and auto. Then you can see how everything looks with a leather shift boot, a little bit of that silver trim, manual park and brake, heated seat controls with 2 different levels, and also a traction control icon. And then right in the center we have your armrest with some smooth padding. Pressing that button that opens up, and we get 2 cup holders in here with a few different USBs and auxiliaries. And then on the far side, if we open up the glove box, you have a pretty large bucket in here as you would expect. And then one last look at the interior with the new GR86. I think they did a really good job just making it feel much more premium and a lot more sporty. I think it's laid out really nice and simple. Really can't complain with just how nice the interior is. Up top we do get your dome lights along with some safety information and then your mirror up front. The Toyota 86 is considered more of a 2+2 seater, so we do have back seats back here. They are on the small side, but at least they're here. And it's even finished in the same design with the Alcantara micro suede and all the smooth leather with stitching. Really nice design with a deep bucket seat. All right, so sitting now in the back seat of the Toyota 86. So I'm 5'11" sitting back here. Like I said, this is a 2+2. You can fit people here in a pinch. Not exactly designed to always have people in back. Headroom on the cramp side. If I go ahead and pull the seat back to a decent recline, I could probably pull it back another inch, but the driver is going to be extremely cramped. So you're really going to have to figure out a way to sit here comfortably. Like I said, not exactly designed too well, but it's a small car, you know, it's designed to be better than nothing. You do get a little armrest and a window and a speaker back here, so it's not too bad for a pinch. And then moving on to the trunk space, you can use the button on the rear, the key fob, or of course that one on the interior. We can lift that open. You get a pretty decent amount of storage space in here. Again, it's a very small car. However, not too bad. You could fit quite a few large items, maybe some luggage. You can even lift the floor up. No spare tire, but you do get a few tire changing accessories along with a little bit of hidden storage space. And then after manually folding down the rear seats, there's a button on each side of the backrest inside. They fold down perfectly flat, as you can see, and you actually do have quite a lot of storage space in here. Really is a pretty decent amount of space, and you get a little bit of storage up in front of these seats. All right, setting off now in the new 86. us up to about 60 right there. So far, first initial impressions, it certainly does feel a little bit more peppy than the previous gen. The previous gen car had like 200 horsepower, I think it was about 150 pound-feet of torque. It was just so sluggish. Now this is still a slow car, it's not like it's gonna win any drag races or anything like that, but I feel like now it just has that little extra pep in its step to kind of have a little bit more fun with getting some power out of the turns. You can feel it towards 5,000. It starts to carry its weight a lot better. And while it's still not that much more power than before, it's just that little extra bit that I feel like the car was missing with the previous gen cars. But sitting in here, my first initial impressions, it is a nice car. I feel like they did a good job updating it, like especially being the premium with these seats. They feel like premium seats, something you would see in maybe a little bit more expensive of a car. So I like just how this car is already feeling. The digital gauge cluster and everything is a really cool touch. Definitely some pep. The gearing seems pretty good as well. First gear, you can get to about 30 miles an hour without even thinking to hurry up and then get into second. So as far as suspension and things like that, it feels like a nice stiff little car. This is kind of your basic entry-level sports car. It's nothing too crazy, but it kind of gives you everything you could want in just a fun car. I've always been a fan of these cars, but the power is what kind of killed it for me. And I feel like this just takes care of that to where it feels like it's a lot more fun to drive. Interior, the way everything is laid out, it feels much more premium. I mean, you have a great view out, really good visibility over your left and right shoulder. That rear glass is really close to you, so it's really easy just to maneuver the car. As far as the transmission going, you can get a 6-speed automatic, or of course you got the stick shift. I like the stick shift a lot. It's a little bit on the longer side for the throws, but it's really notchy. You can easily tell what gear you're in. The clutch pedal, I feel like, has a lot more feedback than the previous generation car as well. Handling is still pinpointy. It's so easy just to maneuver this car. There's no weight transfer. Going hard into a turn, there's like just no body roll. It's so flat, and you can tell when you turn, the front end is just doing this. So I love that aspect. Really easy to rev match. I don't think the drive modes really do too much. It's more of traction control and throttle response, so you're not really gonna notice the biggest of differences, but definitely nice to have at least a little bit extra pep doing that. All right, so flipping now to my perspective, my honest thoughts with the new 86. 50 miles an hour and there's 60 without even going much above 6,000. You don't really need to get towards that 7,500 RPM red line to get up to some speed now. I feel like they just did that extra power that makes this car that much better. So I've always been a fan, like I said. I personally am a really big, I'm impressed with this. I feel like they did a really good job stepping up the game of what the 86 has to offer. You still get all the same pinpointy handling. I mean, you can just toss this around and you actually feel some power going around the turns. It's just enough to carry its weight. Now, like I said, it's not a fast car, but before it was just sluggish, just missing that little bit extra. This is noticeably a big step up. When you get up to some speed, it's just normal feeling. Gosh, I am loving this. So I recently drove a turbocharged BRZ. Obviously that's about a $7,000 upgrade, and that really wakes up the car so much. So now being in the newest 86 to feel out how this car is improved over the previous generation cars, I feel like everything is just better to where it feels like a nicer car. That's probably my biggest thing. The other ones were pretty nice for the time. I mean, back in 2013, I remember when the FRS came out, it felt like a cool new car at that point. Nowadays, you know, they feel a little cheap and they'll feel a little bit old, which is obvious just because of how long ago that was. This one being the premium, it feels a little bit more special. It feels like there's something about this car that makes it extra. It's not just a cheap, fun car. It's a cheap, fun car that actually feels a little bit more refined. So I'm liking that aspect. I think the interior, they really knocked it out of the park. Only complaints I have some nitpicky ones so far. My elbow keeps pressing this button. I'll be there and then those will open. So that's my only complaint I'm already noticing. Other than that, I feel like you're gonna get what you want with this car. You're gonna get what you expect as well. It's a good, just entry-level budget sports car, but it now has a little bit extra refinements. and the power delivery is so much better to where you don't even need to stress the engine to get up to some speed. And I can't imagine, honestly, taking this on the aftermarket, doing a turbo or a supercharger kit now, doing some more mods and tuning and stuff to really upgrade this car. Like, literally put some money into this car to make it just crazy. I feel like this is going to be one of those awesome platforms, because now you get such a good base. You get a really good platform now, a little bit larger engine, so a little bit more displacement to play with, and I think it's a really good blend. I don't know if I have really any other complaints or many more thoughts, but I'm liking it. I've been a fan of these cars since they came out. Just to me, the power was killing it for me. This one, I feel like it's solved. Now the automatic, you can get a 6-speed automatic torque converter. It is actually a little bit slower than this, so the gear ratios must be a lot different, to where it's not going to be quite as sporty, performance oriented as the stick shift. It's a pretty good automatic for what it is, but I think if you're buying this to be something you're going to take to the autocross, take to the mountains, maybe in some track days, I think the stick shift is the way to go. It gives you the feedback, and I feel like the clutch really does have more weight and feedback to it than the old one, to where everything is kind of up a notch. I'm having fun in it, I really am. You know, obviously I like really fast cars with a lot of power, but this is one of those cars you can take the biggest step back and just have pure fun. You're not going to break any laws in this car. You know, you're never going to be speeding too much. It's not like you can go too crazy. It's a car that you can get and you can have responsible fun. You can really use all the power out on the road, and you don't have to worry about hitting 100 miles an hour in just a few seconds. You can get up to 60, use the engine, use the car for everything that it has, and just kind of have worry-free fun in a car like this. So Toyota, I think they really did a great job. Same with Subaru, of course, with the new BRZ, pretty much the same thing underneath. A really good step up, and I'm liking this, and Mike and I have been talking about buying one of these for a project car for the channel, and now after experiencing the GR86 now, this is a car to get. This really is. It's, you know, pretty affordable, 32 grand, something like that. So definitely something anybody can pick up and just have a blast. So I think that is then it. I don't want to give this back. You know, this is one of those cars, I just want to keep driving it. It's really fun. But big shout out and thank you to Flow Toyota of Statesville for providing this new GR86 for today's video. Take a look at their website linked below. They have a huge selection. I even bought my Toyota Supra from them, so they have some pretty cool cars in inventory. But anyways, that is it, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you all in the next video.